You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
AI is here, but with all the buzz, it can be tough to separate hype from the real opportunities out there for auto dealers. So how should auto dealers be thinking about AI right now? Joining us now is Todd Smith, CEO of QoreAI, to tell us a little bit about what we need to know, maybe a lot about what we need to know in this particular space. So Todd, thank you so much for joining us here on CBT News. Very much appreciated. Maybe we have the attention of every dealer really listening right now going, yeah, what's with AI? What do I need to know? What is hype? What is what are the things I really need to focus on? So what is your take on AI as it stands right now in retail automotive? And is it still in the very early days? I know that, but what do we need to know about it?
Yeah, honestly, thank you for having me first. Very early in this model of what AI is going to ultimately be able to do with inside our industry. So what we're seeing currently a lot is just AI being bolted on to legacy technology. That's not where this is really going to get legs and really start benefiting dealers. So we're seeing tools, whether it's reception tools for AI answering or scheduling service calls, maybe AI being used inside an old legacy CRM to handle initial reach out to the customer via email or text, or to help just move customers through a conversational span. So that's where we're seeing it today.
Right.
I don't see that as the long-term play for how this technology, and I use and think about AI more as, I would say, a species than a technology. And what I mean by that is this is going to permeate everything we do. It's not going to be the surface level, like I just bought an AI product. It'll be weaved into the products and services we naturally use in our lives. So long-term, absolutely will change our technology infrastructure inside automotive. But it most likely will not do it from the inside out. It'll be outside, just eating away at the previous applications being used.
Sure. You've probably already answered this question to some degree, but which departments stand to benefit the most from embracing AI? Sales, service, marketing, or even HR? I mean, or all of the above?
Honestly, it's every department. I believe the focus right now and attention is sales. I believe service has more potential uplift than is even imaginable. But I also believe operations. So operations, I believe, is the real true frontier for using this type of technology inside dealerships. And what I mean by that is, we look at an average dealer, $5.5, $6 million in payroll. How can that be streamlined to be more efficient operationally? And I believe dealers have to get there. When I look at a business, the most successful businesses, no matter what industry, are the most operationally efficient.
Right.
So finding a way to leverage technology to actually truly achieve that efficiency. But you can use AI in many different aspects. It could be optimizing payroll. It could be used to go through what I would consider the typical resumes and find candidates. We used it. I just was looking for another engineer. Within 30 minutes, I got 397 resumes.
Jeez,
so
wow.
how would you manage that? So I basically took all the resumes, I uploaded them into my own GPT that I built, that analyzed them to make sure to find the people who really fit what I was exactly looking for.
Wow.
So it took 300, almost 400 people down to 8. 8 turned into 3 interviews and 1 hire. So I look at a world where we're going to leverage these tools to just be more operationally efficient.
And even if you had one of your staff members do that for you, that might take a week or two, right? To do just that, even if it took a few days. In this case, it took probably a few minutes or even a few seconds.
It took me 1 hour.
yeah, to do it all. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just absolutely amazing. In fact, it's often a fear that AI will replace people. What's your message to dealers and their teams who might be hesitant because of that, because of the fact that we might be seeing where we don't need a BDC department, or we don't need maybe all the team members in sales, or maybe finance? Is that a real threat? Is AI going to be replacing people, or is it just going to act as a tool to help those people be more efficient?
I would first say that dealers who are choosing not to use AI because they fear it's going to ultimately replace their people, they're the ones who will lose. Because it'll be smart dealers who work alongside with the AI as a collaborative tool that are going to beat the dealers who've chose to sit on the sidelines. So I would first say that using these tools in a collaborative nature for whatever their workflows they're trying to do is how you win today.
Okay.
Now, through time, are there potential erosions of jobs? Absolutely. There's a lot of repetitive jobs in our business that ultimately tech will fill. But that's no different because as that fills that role, new roles will open up.
Right.
I think this is the same as we transitioned from a horse-drawn carriage industry to an auto industry, to planes. Like we continue to evolve, and there's nothing to say new opportunities won't come into light for us to be able to take advantage of.
That's right. That's right. And we saw that with all technologies. I mean, when you think about the robots that were building cars and everybody was freaking out, going, "Oh my gosh, no, there goes the auto worker," and in reality, that opened up a whole new market of technology and technologists that could work on robots, for instance. And so it just keeps evolving that way. And I'm sure the same thing's going to happen here with AI, right?
Absolutely. I think it's just really, I always try to tell dealers, learn first how to put it into your own life. Forget your store. Put it into your own daily practice. Use it as that collaborator for whether you need to have hard conversations with your manager, how to structure that, how to, go through an employee that you're having trouble with, so you have to give them a performance improvement plan. Okay, we can use AI for that. Or it could just be analyzing data. So hey, I have lots of disparate data, and I want to deeply understand what all this data means and how I can better make decisions from it. So I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunities for actual operators to use this technology and then ultimately show their team how to use the technology as they are using it.
Right.
And as simple things as like email. So for me, all my emails come in, AI reads all my emails, opens up a response if necessary, already fills it in. I just have to go through and tweak it. It's learning my behavior and has over the last year. So I have to critique those emails less and less. I'm just giving you one use case, but now think about that time saving for me. So I think for dealers, it's leverage this tech to leverage yourself. Find a way to be 10x more efficient over the next year, embedding these technologies as your companion and your partner.
Yeah, it's amazing too. I use it as well, and it learns even your voice in the sense that Jim would say it would put the sentence this way instead of that way. And you're right. Over time, it really becomes your alter ego, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's good to have this working with you because it works 24/7. It's never sick. It doesn't forget.
Right.
And it can continue to expand even beyond where you're like, oh, I totally forgot about that. And it's like, oh, yeah, it brought that up. And I think those are those inflection points that are showing what this tech is ultimately going to be able to do for us in our lives. Yeah. And I think that's why I always tell every dealer, start with yourself. Forget bringing in AI for your store.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to buy something if you don't understand how it works.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Learn how these things work in your daily workflow, whether it's writing emails, whether it's writing letters, whether it's dealing with employees, whether it's dealing and negotiating with vendors. You can use this tech in many individual tasks that will absolutely give you rewarding outcomes.
Yeah, it's great advice. It really is, because I think if they jump in and they see that it is way easier than maybe they thought it was going to be, and what happens is you become kind of addicted to it very quickly because of that. It's easy to use. It gives you what you're looking for. It gives it to you quick. All the things that we just talked about, and all of a sudden you find yourself going to that for so many different things. And it's very impressive. There's no question about it. So that's great. That's great advice to have dealers use it themselves, maybe their families, and then slowly start to implement it with your staff and the team members at the store, right?
Yeah, think about it like it's just leveraging up. So once you have a good feeling of how to use it and you're comfortable with it, then it's easier to start sharing it with your team. Plus, it's not, and look, I hate to bring back my age in all of this, but when the internet first came out, it was like, you're young, you're now the internet person, right?
That's right.
You're the internet guy. And you're like, but I don't understand anything about the
Right.
business. But you're
Right.
like, oh, you know the tech, so that makes you this person. And I think my fear is dealers are going to say, oh, this AI is a young man's game. It's the new person in the company,
That's
and
right.
that is a bad
I know. I
framework
agree.
to operate from.
I agree.
You need to roll up your sleeves because this isn't the internet. The internet has made this possible. This, what we're about and what we're already beginning the journey on, is absolutely transformational
Yeah.
for every piece of your organization.
That's right.
Nothing is going to be untouched. So I think we need to really kind of develop this new mindset that it's, hey, we all have to roll up our sleeves. We need to educate ourselves. We need to try to stay at pace. Obviously, the tech moves so fast. Every probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're seeing major breakthroughs and LLMs or alternate offshoots of how they're going to use compute. So I definitely see this world opening up where our ability to learn and adapt is the critical differentiator. And dealers who choose to do that are the ones who are going to win.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly with everything that you just said. Couldn't agree more. Hey, before I let you get out of here, share with our audience what QoreAI is all about. Obviously, as the CEO of that company, this is very exciting that you're jumping right in the AI game. So, what solutions do you provide for dealers?
Yeah, so for us, it really starts with data. So we're really a data company. AI is an output of that, right? So for us, we organize all dealer data across disparate systems. Let me boil it down. We take data out of everything a dealer normally has: DMS, CRM, Pixel website, CDP, any system that they have. We want to organize all of that data in the bottom, the customer data, unify it. Once we have all the data in and unified, we can do hygiene work. Then we do enhancement. We have a deep partnership with Equifax and others where we can bring in to match the transactional data in dealerships to all the behavioral psychodemographic data that is on the graph. And once we put all that together, we can then build what we call like a data intelligence layer for the dealership.
Okay.
This enables them to understand their customers at a whole new way that helps them engage them more efficiently or do whatever they're trying to do with their own data. I think for us, we're just this, I would call it the data spine and brain we're building for our dealer groups.
Okay, okay, that sounds very exciting, and congratulations on that. And you know, we've done many shows on the hygiene of dealers' data and how it is just not what it needs to be. There's not really a champion per se at the dealer level. Usually, it's you, right? It's an outsider, but it's so vitally important, right? That data is maintained and cleaned so that you don't have the wrong message being sent to consumers of cars that they don't own any longer, and it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and at the end of the day, it makes you look pretty bad as a retailer, right? And somebody that consumer wants to do business with moving forward. So this is something that dealers are really struggled with for sure, right?
Yeah, and Jim, I'll leave you with one. I'll give you some stats just to put this in.
Yeah.
So average dealer, 40% of the people in their DMS no longer own those cars.
Wow,
I can tell
40%.
you that 2.5% of email addresses go bad per month. So if you're not hygiening them constantly over a year, you will 30% are bad. So home addresses are somewhere in the range of 10 to 14%, depending on the store and where it's located. If it's more transient or closer to apartments, you have higher turn. And even phone numbers have usually as high as a 25% rate of decay.
Wow.
So it's very important when you look at your data. It's not static. You get a snapshot of it, and you have to keep it in this state of hygiene if you want to be efficient with your marketing spend, communication spend, as well as just touching the right people at the right time.
Sure. And will you do you have the ability to, if Jim Fitzpatrick buys a car and he bought one, 4 years ago, but I now have a new email address and I now have a new cell phone number and I now have a new address that I live at, will your technology be able to update all of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're constantly, and this is where we triangulate data with known sources or Equifax data, SP Global, take your pick. So we take big data and mash it over the dealership's transactional data.
Okay.
Because you always do want to keep to me, like a accurate take of who your actual real customers are. And then
Sure.
you need to understand the value of them, So we score all customers on a 3-digit score, 111 worst customer, 555 your best customer.
Okay.
Because we really want to know, which are your true valuable customers. And we had a dealer ask, he said, I want to take my 100 best customers to a restaurant. So that was the thesis. And I was like, that's a really good question that you kind of have to dig a rabbit hole into, because maybe in a typical DMS, it would have said, oh, this guy spent $12,000 for you, but he came in once and he changed a diesel engine.
Right.
That's not a good customer.
Right.
Or another customer came in 5 times in the last 6 months over the same issue and opcode in service.
Sure.
Not a good customer, probably an angry customer.
Yeah, could be.
So you have to peel back all these layers inside
sure.
the data
Wow.
to get true intelligence. But once you do, it's magical.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. Todd Smith, CEO of QoreAI. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it. For those of you that wanted more information, we'll show the website right here to get a hold of Todd, and really appreciate it. I'd love to do a follow-up with you because obviously AI is moving fast, and as we sat here today, it probably changed a couple of times. So we got to stay on top of it.
Thank you so much for having me, Jim. Always more than happy to come back.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.